Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome to Random Thoughts, Some Useful. Whether you're taking a drive, out for a run, or just relaxing at home, this podcast is your go-to for inspiration, insight, and real life stories. I'm your host, Jen. You can find me on all social platforms at Apothecaring Jen. Join me as we explore thought-provoking topics, interview amazing guests, and share tips to empower you with life and business hacks and everything you need to feed your soul. Let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Bro Sessions, where we tackle tough conversations with heart, honesty, and hope. I'm Jen, and today's episode is one that hits close to home. It's Suicide Awareness Month, and we're here to break the silence, to share real stories, and to remind anyone listening that no matter how dark it feels, there's always light ahead. We're not just talking statistics or numbers today. This is about real people, real struggles, and real hope. Whether you're someone who's dealt with these thoughts personally or you've watched someone you love struggle, we want you to know that you're not alone. There's power in community and reaching out and speaking up. So settle in for an honest conversation with me and my baby bro as we dive deep into suicide awareness, mental health, and finding hope when it seems like there's none. It's okay to not be okay, but it's never okay to give up. Let's talk about it. According to the CDC in 2021, in the general population, suicide was the 11th leading cause of death in the U.S., with over 48,000 deaths. That's one suicide every 11 minutes. Demographics are the highest rates are seen in adults aged 25 to 34 and 85 plus. But it deeply affects all age groups. Males are 4 times more likely to die by suicide compared to females, though women attempt suicide at higher rates. Veterans suicide rates are they're a particularly high risk, with an estimated 16.8 veterans dying by suicide each day. U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs. That's 57.3% higher than the non-veteran population. Age and gender: male veterans aged 18 to 34 face highest suicide rates, while female veterans have suicide rates more than 2 times higher than their non-veteran counterparts. Veterans who have seen combat, particularly those from Iraq and Afghanistan wars, are at an even higher risk due to PTSD and other mental issues. First responders, police, firefighters, EMS. Studies show that police officers are at a greater risk of dying by suicide than in the line of duty. In 2021, more than 240 police officers died by suicide in the U.S., which is about 1.5 times higher than the general population. Firefighters and EMS. Research indicates that firefighters are more likely to die by suicide than on-duty fires.
Yeah, they're more likely to die by suicide than
in on-duty fires.
fire.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And EMS workers experience suicidal thoughts at rates 10 times higher than the general population. I also looked up a couple of resources for each of these kind of demographic groups.
And the reason why that is because trauma is really hard to deal with.
It is.
You know, if you see things, it's strange. And it's really cool, actually. In the break, I took a look at X, and there's a guy that I've followed for years. He's a regenerative farmer, homeschools his kids, has a YouTube channel. That's what he does. And he posts, for anyone that eats meat, so important that in life, at some point, what you're going to eat, you butcher yourself to understand the weight behind taking a life to survive, is ultimately what he was alluding to. And I responded back. I mean, read what I said. I can't remember specifically. I kind of said, that just in a different way. But I'm getting to a point here. Posted it, and it's Justin Rhodes over on X. Every meat eater should at some point make a kill in order to feel the weight of the sacrifice. And that's, yeah, exactly.
What?
And I said, didn't post it. But anyway, it's just it's an overwhelming feeling to take a life just so you can survive. But so important nowadays because of the chemicals in our food. You know that my children are getting healthy food, which is one of the reasons that I'm a farmer. It's a heavy, heavy weight. I think it just puts life more so in perspective than what most people feel. It's just so heavy. Anyway, so that trauma of taking a life. Now imagine that, seeing that as a firefighter, somebody losing their life. It's not like of old age, grandma, grandpa, which that's trauma too, obviously, but it's just a more understood or common. But going to a car accident and seeing a little one hurt, or you know, in the military, seeing a 9-year old with their legs blown off, or those types of things happen. And there are people out there that have experienced that, and dealing with that is so hard. It is really hard. And just the mindset you have to be in to go to war or live in your own country, your own state, and in your own town in fear for your life because you're a police officer and everybody knows you're a police officer. Like, that's the world police live in. That is 100% the world the police live in. The police,
Constant.
regardless of their friends, their family, yeah, I'm an American. You're a police officer. And when you have that level of responsibility of deciding between what's right and wrong, who has freedom and who doesn't at your hand, that is the most tremendous weight. And people don't know that. You know that in the military when you're over there. And when I'm over here, nobody knows I'm in the military. I'm not out broadcasting it all the time. I'm just a dude in a hat. You know what I mean? Plenty of people wearing an American flag hat around here. Like it's not indicative of being in the military, whatever. But dude, as a police officer, that is the most tormenting job you could have. That's the most tormenting profession, a police officer. I feel so much appreciation for those guys because there are some really good ones, and the vast majority of them are fantastic. There's some bad ones. And guess what? I'd argue to say that the percentage of bad ones to good ones in the comparison between police officers and politicians are a lot more lopsided. You know what I mean? Among all politicians. So, anyway, sorry. How did we get here?
No, I'm so glad that you brought that up. I mean, it's exciting.
Oh, talking about
Crucial.
suicide rates and how, yeah, this
Crucial that we talk about.
people don't realize. And people are really critical, and they should be on law enforcement. Should be very critical. Because it's a tremendous responsibility. And I don't necessarily think that like from a textbook standpoint of education, you know, like you have to go to a 12-year degree program to become law enforcement or anything like that. I don't think that's the route. But there just needs to be a very disciplined process of determining the character of those that become police. But not from a politically biased standpoint, but from just like a merit standpoint. You know what I mean?
Almost like whenever they're evaluating you for jury duty.
Well, you know, we don't send just Joe Blow to the Olympics. You know what I mean? We don't just send Joe Blow to the Olympics. I mean, that matters in life. It matters in life. As a doctor, as a lawyer, which I mean, it's a whole other
Well,
avenue.
because of trauma. That's why it
Trauma.
matters. Because even
Yeah.
like I not to please don't ever anyone take this the wrong way, but just hiring somebody just because they're military doesn't mean that they've processed the trauma and
No.
that they're able to cope with it on a daily basis. And
Yeah.
so that leads us into basically our next episode and the content there. And just so yes, we need to talk about these things, we need to bring light to it and awareness, but we also need to do our due diligence in empowering people with the coping skills to be able to endure the trauma on a daily basis, because it's not just even just a daily basis, it's second by second basis sometimes. The
Yeah.
trauma that
You're
people have to
constantly
process and deal with on
you're
constant.
constantly reminding yourself, don't behave from learned behaviorism.
Right.
Don't respond. Don't react to situations around you. It's make a deliberate response to the situations around you, the experiences that you're in. Don't allow your emotions to govern you. It's kind of like a position of hierarchy. Obviously, we're emotionally attached to the world and our family and our connections and everything. However, the way I do my best to react isn't to react, it's to make a deliberate response to everything, because a reaction is just like you go to the doctor and they hit the reaction point on your knee and your leg pops out.
Reflex.
It's just the reflex of life. And so the governing from a logical standpoint and then taking into consideration the emotional standpoint of the decisions that you're making, rather than governing yourselves from a emotional standpoint and then maybe considering the logical aspect after you've already made your decision.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just think that if we were to kind of make a little bit of that mind shift, it doesn't mean we can't enjoy emotion. That doesn't mean that we can't feel the moment. It doesn't mean that we, you know, um, become inhuman. Right.
Disassociate.
Yeah. It's just,
Well, it's learning how to
respond
to emotions more than anything.
Yeah. It's internally knowing how to govern yourself so as to making the right decision rather than the emotional one. Because there are chemicals in our body that are released that make us respond one way or the other based upon our experiences that we're in. And people just don't realize how much control they have over their life. And that's and it's easy to fall back into that, so you have to constantly have
Guard your ears and your eyes and your mind.
well, and just keep that in your peripheral. You know what I mean? Peripheral vision. That's ultimately, but in that part of your mind, it's it's kind of the governor, you know.
Filter.
It is. You've got to filter everything through that. You really do, and there are ways of doing it.
Healthy ways of doing it. And
Cool. All right. Appreciate y'all listening. My name is Jake Brown. Find me at original Jake B on X. I've been in and out of the saving the world movement for, let's just say, since 2015. I've been banned, blocked, and deleted off of most platforms, trying to reach people and trying to help humanity escape the control that the Matrix has over our lives. And it's been a blast. It's been a lot of work, been a lot of changes that I've had to make, and a lot of changes that I've tried to lead my family towards. And I decided to go down this route because it was what was best for me, and as a result, best for my family. And I believe it to be the best way of living for humanity and for future generations and the direction that humanity may head in the future. And so I talk about all that stuff. I've talked about this in many different capacities since 2015. I'm not a, you know, Ivy League scholar or anything like that, but I feel rather experienced in life due to my abnormal life experiences that I've been through, the journey that I've been on. And I'm a father of four. And I think that I can help people out there. And Jen is my sister, and she's incredible. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So that's me. You can find me on Original Jake B over on X, and I'm pretty much banned, blocked, and deleted off of pretty much everything else. So that's why you can't find me there. And I appreciate y'all listening, and we hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of different aspects of this that I know go a lot of different directions, but it's because those are the connections in our life, and the decisions we make in one area, we make decisions affect other areas of our life. So that's why I'm here.
I will list the different resources that I found today in the the words for all of that down below, wherever you find this episode. At Apothecary Jen on all social and at Apothecary. Look forward to our future discussions. I'm like super pumped about this. I'm so glad we've decided to pick this back up. We started this back before COVID.
2020.
And it was episode 1, basically. Start here on my podcast, which is Random Thoughts, Some Useful. So you can find it on, where did we look it up the other day?
On Spotify. And on Apple Podcasts.
Podcasts, for sure.
I'm not on any Apple stuff, so I couldn't get it, but I found it on Spotify. So.
That's definitely where we differ.
I feel like there's, you've got all people on Earth, or at least in the United States, can be thrown into one of two categories, and that's iPhone or Samsung. And I think most people that are on Samsung are like Spotify people.
Yeah.
I would imagine, or at least that's the way I am. And most people that are on Apple are Pandora.
Pandora?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not on any.
At least that's what Kayla was before I convinced her to go to Spotify. And
I'm really a sellout. I just do everything Apple.
Right. So
as alike as we are in so many different ways, we definitely are not the same when it comes to technology or operating systems anyway.
I mean, I would like to say that I'm not a fan of child labor, which is what ultimately happens with Apple phones in China. And I hate to laugh about it, and I'm not trying to act like it's a funny thing, but we all have to come to the realization that all the electronics we use are even currently being manufactured by slave labor in China, or close to slave labor in China.
And outside of China.
And then we have all of the
and outside
lithium
of
ion, yeah. And that's what I'm getting to, is that, and outside of even Apple, you've got lithium ion batteries that use different resources and minerals that are mined in Africa by literal slave labor. And so we've got this aspect of our society that are all up in arms about this, that, and the other, and people's rights, right, and who's on what side and what. I'm on humanity's side. What's best for humanity? You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm at. And so, oh my goodness, we could just talk about so much. Yeah.
So cool.
We are different people, but we are trying to do the best that we can while using slave labor products.
Equally.
Yeah, we're trying to save humanity while using slave labor products to ultimately get rid of slave labor. Does that make sense? Like that's where I'm at in life. You know what I mean? I guess we could just that pretty much chalks up all of my existence on Earth. Is I'm on Team Humanity, and what's best for Team Humanity. And so everything I do in life is because I deem that what's best for Team Humanity. Like, that's where I'm at in life.
same. That's
I'm
why we
serious.
just fit in. Literally. That's why I'm always a fish swimming upstream and a fish standing out of water, whatever that is, literally sticking out. Because don't conform to the ways of the world and ways that we totally ignore and just say are just life. We just accept it as, oh, it's just the way life is.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we're going to put this at the beginning of the episode, um, because this is ultimately where I imagine all of our episodes will end up. Team Humanity. That's it's not the official name or the unofficial name of the podcast, but I'm serious. That's
Yeah.
And I think that's where most people are. I think that's where the most of humanity is. There's just varying degrees of that and varying degrees of propaganda that we're all subjected to. You know what I mean? And so
Distractions.
we're all trying to come to the best. We're always trying. That's what I think we're all trying to do. Everybody that are doing podcasts and self-help and entrepreneurship and mindset, and that's we're all trying to do that. We're all trying to help humanity come to the best conclusion of what's best for humanity. And a lot of propaganda.
Yeah, there is. And a lot of propaganda to distract us from being our best selves and humanity, right? What's right for humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Awesome. Love it. Can't wait for the next episode.
And I
You're
know
the
that I
best,
could.
bro.
Oh,
You're my
thank
hero.
you. I hope you don't mind how much I talk. I just feel like these things, please know that I will do everything that I can in this podcast to listen to you and give you your due amount of time. And if I ever don't give you enough time to generate your full thought, please let me know because I want you to feel the way that I feel with you listening. Does that make sense? I feel so honored to be able to sit here and really in-depthly from multiple angles explain the way that I feel because I feel like these thoughts that I have can help. And they've helped me, and that's why I think that they can help others.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be where I am today without the thoughts that I have. And I don't mean that from an arrogant, egotistical standpoint. I'm just honored to have these feelings and this level of depth that I don't know if everybody else has these same feelings, and I want to share them so that I can find other people that may have these same feelings of the way I feel about life and the world around us. And
collective consciousness.
Yeah.
Power in numbers.
Like I really want to reach other people at that level.
Yeah.
And if there are people that stumble across this podcast that don't feel that way, I hope that them hearing us talk about how we feel inspires them to explore the depths of their capability of understanding the world around them. Does that
in our own
does that make
personal power.
sense? Yeah, like just I want to help people.
Yes.
And I want to help myself because constantly, continually, regularly talking about these things with others, I think are what will help us manifest them as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Collective consciousness. 100%.
Because really, where I feel.
That's where I'm at. I mean, it's all about empowering others.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. I honestly feel blessed, like that I've been gifted with the trials that I have so that I can be kind of a lighthouse for others. You know what I mean? Hey, this is the way. It's okay. You're gonna make it through it. Like we can literally make it through anything as long as we believe it. You know what I mean?
It's the true form of friendship. You know, that's really what it is. It's the true form of friendship and love is wanting to share this. I really feel that.
To help prevent
Others
pain for others, but also
some of that is necessary.
help us all be our best selves. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, it really does come down to the man in the mirror, you know? You like what we want to see in the world be the change. We say that all the time.
Yeah, I after
Lead
all
by
the
example.
so I've been live streaming and podcasting for years, successfully on different levels, however you want to look at it. Um,
Different platforms.
Different platforms, dodging bans and deletions and reaching people for sure. And I've had people reach out to me and tell me that I've really helped them. I don't have a huge following by any means as far as like millions of followers, but I really have
like
reached thousands of people. Yeah.
Same. I have to in all my channels over the years,
Yeah.
right?
And
But even if I just reach one, that's all that really matters to me. And take some of the pain, frustration, and overwhelm from some.
and I feel like I have to do something.
Right.
And that's why I want to do these things.
Yeah.
I want to have these podcasts and
I want to help.
Make these videos.
And the most efficient way that I can help is to share the knowledge
just
I've learned around.
Talk about how you feel
on my journey.
Yeah. So, yeah.
What we can do. Love it. Y'all. Don't give up.
See you next time.